Hi folks, it's a Sunday morning and we're just finishing off a batch of t-shirts which we've had, how many, Sharon?
114.
114 t-shirts which we've vinyl printed, no t-shirt transfers in this one. It's basically for a dance school and they wanted their logo in the centre of the t-shirts in various sizes. So we've, as I say, we've produced these for them. They sent us the graphic, so it's not our graphic. They had their own graphic created and all we've basically done is transfer it onto some white t-shirt vinyl and applied it to the actual garments in question, 114 of them in various sizes. So the way we've done that, as I said, we've used our craft cutter here. As you know, we've got the Silhouette Cameo, and you can use the carrier sheet that comes with the Silhouette Cameo, as you know, that has a sticky residue on it, but you don't have to use that. If your vinyl that you're feeding into your craft cutter is bigger than the pinch rollers on it, as I say, these has got adjustable pinch rollers on this Cameo Silhouette. You can print up to A3 paper in here, in which case you would just move this one along, clip it into the end, and you can put a larger roll of either vinyl or transfer paper or even the carrier sheet in. But for this instance we just wanted something that was quick, so what we've actually done, we normally buy our vinyls, let me show you. Here's one of our rolls of vinyl. This is basically just a standard blue vinyl, but we normally get them in this sort of width roll and we normally put them onto our work table and cut them down to A4 size. That's if when we're doing the odd t-shirt graphic, so you know, it's just easier for us to do that. But because we had such a large order, it's quite a bit of hassle to cut these down into A4 sheets. So what we decided to do, we went on to our supplier, who we normally get our t-shirt vinyl for, and we asked them, is there any other sizes they do? Well, they come back to us and said that they sell it in this roll obviously, but what they can do is that they can cut the rolls down to possibly A4 length or width rather, so that we can feed them into the machine. So this is what they come back with. Let me show you. Right, okay, so this is what they come back with. Let's move that to one side. So what we've basically got here is, as you can see, the same width roll, which is that same width of the actual roll, but they've cut it into strips like that, and this means that we can basically just go to our Silhouette Cameo, put it in there, and as you can see, that gives us a lot longer and we don't need a carrier sheet to put that sheet into our cutter. And it works out lovely because with this length of sheet, it's not quite A4, a twin A4, as you can see, that's the A4 width there. So it's one A4 length that way, but we've also got the added bit of this bit this side, so it's not fully two A4 lengths. So normally what we was doing, we was printing the logo. Let me show you. This is the logo which we've cut out basically. We was printing on the A4 sheet of paper 2 logos per A4 sheet. So with this sheet cut like this, we're able to position 4 logos on there. So we're getting 4 logos on not quite 2 A4 sheets, if you can see what I'm saying, which is basically a saving. So by doing it this way, as I say, all we have to do is change our cut settings to accept a longer sheet of paper, and I'll show you how to do that now in the Silhouette Cameo software. Right, well, as you can see, this is our longer sheet there that I've actually put on the page. Now if I wanted to create a new one of these, let me show you. Let me start from scratch, and that will give you an indication of what you need to do. We'd normally have a default setting of A4 if you're in the UK. If you're in America, for example, you might have letter, for example. But that's our default setting. So if we want to change the length of this page so that we can feed it into our actual cutter without a carrier sheet, if we go to where it says the drop down menu and we're looking for custom, so all you would basically do there is at the bottom there you can see custom. So when we choose custom, we can actually choose the length and width of the actual paper which we're putting in. Right, so all you would do, you go to your paper, get that, give me a sheet of that paper there please. You go to your paper, you'd lay it down and you basically measure it. Well, we're looking at 19 inches or 19.5 inches long there. So I'm going to put this in for 19.5 inches. So 19.5 inches by 9 inches. So I'd come up to there and I'd put 19.5 inches, 19.5. That's 19.5. And I think I allowed 9 inches there. For 9 inches in width. And once you install that, as you can see, the page automatically changes, and that is now our sheet of paper, which the cutter will recognise and pull in. So if you just want to go to your cut settings there, we don't need any registration marks, so we're going to turn them off, and as you can see, the page changed there. So all we're left with, basically, our page at a certain length. Now all you do then, you bring your image in wherever it is, you place it on there wherever it is, wherever you want it, and what we would do then is we would then go to the cut settings, which is up there once we've had our image on, and we'd use cut the edge, which is the outline of whatever image we was using. We would use the heat transfer smooth cutting settings because we're using the white vinyl. We'd have our vinyl set on the click adjuster there from the cutter onto number 2, or we'd test it on number 2. That doesn't necessarily mean that it will always work on number 2. You might do your test cut, and then you might find that it doesn't cut, and I'm going to do that for you and show you how to do that in a second. So what we will do then is that we'll scroll down the page a bit, and you can see the test cut button. So let's put a little bit of paper in. Shao, can you pass? So although I haven't actually put anything on that paper, first of all I'm going to put this vinyl in. Now don't forget, there's 2 sides to the vinyl. You've got the very shiny side, which is the backing, clear backing, and then you've got the duller side, which is the actual glue. Well, you cut on the glue side, as I've told you before. So let's put that under the rollers, and basically what you want to make sure is that your rollers, or your width of your paper when you get it cut, is wide enough to go under the rollers, because that's what pulls the paper in and out, you see. So by cutting it the way we've done it, we know that's the case anyway. So we would just put in the paper and just press the enter button, and it takes it in. Now while it's in that position like that, we're going to come over and just press the test cut button on the software. Don't forget, we haven't done anything yet, and we're just going to check the settings that are already set up. So we press test cut, and it sends the test cut to the top corner of our paper, and then you just pull it out, and you probably can't even see that, but what you should be left with, I'll show you. Right, I've just turned the light and I couldn't see what I was doing. So in the top corner here, the machine's actually made a little test cut. Now what you've basically got, in fact I'll draw it for you so that you can actually see it. What we've actually drawn or cut out there is a square box like that. Okay, and in that square box there's a triangle. Now that's what the machine is actually cut out. Now what we want to check is we should be able to get our pick tool, pick that square box out, and it should leave the triangle in situ. That shows that everything's cut okay. So let's just see if that occurs when I do that. So where is it again? I'll put it down, I can't see, remember where it is. Where is it? There we go. So you won't be able to see this, but I'm going to do this now. And in one pick, I'm just grabbing that square box and I'm pulling, and it should leave. I've done one movement, that's all it takes, and it should leave. I don't know if you can see that or not. Now let me try and get up there. Can you see it's actually left the white triangle in the middle, and that basically means that the cutter is set up correct. Now if that didn't happen and the white triangle lifted out as well and it just had a square box there, that would mean that I would have to put my cutter blade in there, and although it recommended setting number 2, which is on, our machine is actually on setting number 4, believe it or not. So at number 2 it didn't cut, so we moved it up to 3. It half sort of cut, it didn't really want to pull out, and we just put it up to number 4, and that accepts. That is it then, that's the machine set, and we just put that in there, and then we would press cut, and it would cut all our shapes out, and that would be the right setting for that vinyl. So basically getting our vinyl cut from our suppliers in these lengths works out so much cheaper, because we're able to get 4 images on less than 2 A4 sheets, and it works out that the widthways, it's the same rolls, in width, and we haven't got no cutting to do like we did before, and also all the edges are perfectly straight because they was actually machine cut at the place where we buy our vinyl from. And what this has learned us, after many years of using large rolls and cutting them down to A4 size, is this is quite a big order. As I said to you, it's 114 t-shirts in one go. I'll just show you that is the case. Let me show you. Right, well, there's our box of them. As you can see, Sharon's nearly packaged them all up there. You can see they're all various sizes there. That's how deep the box is, as you can probably see there. Where is it there? Look. Okay, it's quite a deep box. Comes up to my, where are we? Up to my shin. So it's a nice sized box. Not that you worried about the size of the box, but as you can see, we're nearly finished them now. She's got a few more to go. She's doing a few more on the table there, as you can see. Now again, we've got a cutting mat, as you can see. We've cut them, we've staggered them on the actual graphics so that we can get 4 on that sheet of paper. So she's just cutting them on the diagonal. It doesn't really matter. And this is why it's nice to have a cutting mat and a nice little work area. It's Sunday morning, and Sharon's just plodding along doing her own little thing. So Sharon just trims up around the graphic just to make it easier. And that's just wasted. See, the bin's positioned nicely right next to her. Look, everything's happening here. She's doing it all here, which is great. And it's just a little workstation where she's got a set. And you get into a routine. When you've got a large batch like this, you get into a routine. Right, now what we're seeing is Sharon's using the pick tool. And she'll weed out. Let's get a bit nearer. So as you can see, the graphic's been cut out by our silhouette cutter. And you haven't got to go mad here. It's a gentle pulling off. And all the letters are coming out, as you can see. And the shape's coming out as well. Now, I mean, you can do this a different way. Sharon does it in batches of 4 sheets. So she'll print 4 sheets off, and then she'll cut. So 4 sheets is 20 t-shirts, because we've got 4 graphics per sheet. So that's just the way Sharon does it. And I might make a cup of tea in a minute, because she's having fun, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. Been up since 7.
She's been up since 7 o'clock this morning. What's the time now? About 9:30, say. So she's had a little bit of time, a couple of hours work this morning, just to finish this little project off. And there you go. So that's the main part coming out, and then she goes in with the pick tool and just gets out the little bits in the letters, the P and the D, I think you'll find that is. And then she'll drop them little bits straight into the bin down there, because you can have them laying about them things and they can get stuck on that mylar backing clear sheet, and you could accidentally press it. So get rid of it. Always keep your work area clean. So anyway, yeah, that's Sharon. So don't forget, you don't need to use the cutting mat with the Silhouette Cameo, and possibly even the Craft Robo or the variations of them. So this is the way we now are going to buy our vinyl, in the sheets like this. For years and years we've been buying it in the roll and cutting it down ourselves, but this is a far easier way for us, and it's less wastage. And as I said to you, by changing the settings of your paper settings when you're in the custom menu in your Cameo, Silhouette Cameo software, you can basically have a longer sheet of paper like we've done there. Always use the test cut on the top corner, and that will give you the indication that your cut depth is actually correct. And if not, it's a matter of pulling that out and then changing it in the actual setting there by the click wheel, as I've told you before. And you can happily then produce vinyl graphics and t-shirts without having the carrier sheet, which you know can lose its stickiness after a while. But you would need the carrier sheet because we get a lot of offcuts. At the end of this sheet, for example, let's say for example we had an offcut of about that square like that, and we keep them offcuts, but the square's too good to throw away because it's a white solid area, and you can easily put a logo on there for a one-off t-shirt or sleeve or design or whatever. So we keep them, and then what we would do then is that we would then position, we would put the carrier sheet switch on, we would then stick that white square in the corner of the carrier sheet, and then obviously design our graphic size to fit onto that sheet, and then we would stick that white vinyl on there and then take it in, because we couldn't put the white vinyl in there because the rollers don't go down that small. And that is the problem you've also got when you're dealing with a big GX24 rolling cutter. The rollers are too far apart for you to cut little small bits, so that's when the carrier sheet comes in handy when you're dealing with vinyl, so you can use small bits small offcuts and all that, and that's where that comes in handy. Anyway, hope that was useful to you. Don't forget, if you like our videos, do rate, comment and subscribe and share them as well. Thanks very much. Bye for now. We'll leave Sharon finishing off the job. Oh, got stuck to that.